Yep.
Hey friends, it's time for D&D. It's been a little while on Wednesday nights on this channel. The halls have been dark, the cave has been barren, but that all changes tonight. We're back with Dragon of Icespire Peak. My name is Scott. Actually, Wiley Hobbit is probably how you would know me from Discord and Twitter and Twitch. And welcome to those of you who may or may not be here. Woo! It's Wednesday night. It's been 3 sessions, 3 weeks that we haven't played, so hopefully we can remember how to play Dungeons and Dragons. So let's just dispense with all the nonsense and get right into the intros. Let's start with Lulu down in the bottom right corner. Tell us a little bit about your character.
Hello, I'm Rebecca. I'm playing Lulu, the level 2 Druid Kobold. And I have forgotten how to play D&D, so let's go with it.
Awesome. We should all be in the same situation then. Right across the bottom there, Bryphon.
Hello, I'm Sabrina. I play Bryphon, the level 2 Wood Elf Ranger, and she is ready to go.
All right. Glad to hear it. We'll go right straight above you to my friend Shannon.
Hello, I'm playing a changeling, and my name is Shannon Logic, so I don't even know how to introduce all the characters that I am. Just assorted gay, if you will. But
So many assorted gay. Right now, I believe it's Solana, right?
Solana,
Solana.
Hippie Jarvis. I think
Yeah.
it's Solana.
I think you're Solana until you change. All right, cool. How about right to your beside you there? Let's go to Ms. Misery, Ezralyn.
Hi, I'm Miss Missouri, and I'm playing Ezralyn, the half-orc fighter.
Nice. All right. Very good. And then last but not least, right beside you, Chris.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris. I play Ethan, the 65th level human diviner. He may hear voices. He may see the future. He doesn't know he's the greatest wizard of all time, but he's foreseen it.
Forgot about that.
65th level minus 63. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So everybody's second level. We are playing a published adventure with maybe some sprinklings of wily hobbity goodness here and there to get us, fill in the cracks and so forth. And so last session we were in a little place we call Nomengard, which is a kind of a collective, almost a commune, if you will, of these recluse rock gnome wizards, and they live up in the mountains. They have this little kind of cave mine complex that they've got, and they just hang out up there and tinker. They live on mushrooms, 3 colors of mushrooms, if memory serves. I believe they're red, green, and purple. They grow on this island, a pair of islands that are in this big pool. There's a waterfall that comes out of the side of the mountain above all the openings to the various caverns and caves where these gnomes call home, and they just hang out up there and tinker. Sometimes they'll send a couple down to Phandalin or maybe over to Tribor to on business or whatever, but they pretty much stay to themselves. And the party has been there for a few hours now. It is, I believe, the date is still 18 Flame Rule, if memory serves. Yeah, and it's probably gotten on to be evening time by this time, and they've been asked to visit Nomengard by the town leader of Phandalin there, the town master Harbin Weston, to see if they can get a couple of magical items that might be helpful in case they have to deal with, or when they have to deal with, this white dragon that seems to have been plaguing the area. So we're going to pick action up. They've explored much of the complex already, and they've run across an interesting situation. They met up with these 2 gnomes. Let me get you their names. They are Fibblestib, he's a male gnome, and Dabbledob, and they seem to be kind of the lead tinkerers, wizards in the complex. And they are concerned because they believe their king, King Korbaz, maybe a little off center, maybe a little paranoid, or maybe just full out butterfly nets. But he's fearful of what he's referring to as a shape changer, He swears he was attacked by it. It was a rug when it attacked him, and he's locked himself and the other. They have two kings, King Korbaz and King Gunnerkli, and Korbaz has locked himself and Gunnerkli in their bedchambers for presumably safekeeping. And the party did make contact with King Korbaz through the door, and they've agreed to see if they can figure out what or where or if there's the shapeshifter or shape changer somewhere in Nomengard. And King Korbaz has kind of got the whole settlement in a bit of a froth and an uproar and a little paranoia over this supposed shape changer. There has been reported two gnomes have gone missing in the last 10 day. And that's kind of where we are. And I believe the party is actually in the throne room, which is it's about a 30-foot deep room. The back wall is flat. There's a raised dais with a couple of thrones on it, and the thrones are kind of interesting. Let me describe these to you as soon as I find what I'm looking for. Yeah, they're made of like scrap metal pieces and parts, and they're really kind of sized perfectly for small humanoids like gnomes. So the party is in there, and they're about to, I guess, look for this shape changer. There's a set of double doors in the south wall. The dais is about probably about 15, 16 feet wide and about 8 feet deep. And then it's several steps up, and then it has these two thrones on it. The dais itself is made of wood. And there they are in the throne room. There's a wooden table between the two thrones. And what would you like to do?
As a quick reminder, Lulu is still down in Breffen's bag.
That's right. Lulu has taken refuge in Bryfon's bag. There was some interesting incidents on the way through exploring Nomengard. They were attacked by a gnome operating this giant kind of a ballista contraption, and she was shooting at them, and they had to kind of subdue her and get her, I guess, bound and gagged for all intents and purposes. Yeah, so it's been an interesting, what do they say, a long, strange trip it's been here in Mushroom Town. So what would you all like to do?
I think if memory serves, didn't we, as we ended, didn't we check the carpet? Because I think the gnome had said that the carpet had attacked him. So I thought we had messed with the carpet in the throne room.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had stabbed it.
Yeah, and they're
And then I thought we messed.
Go ahead.
Did we mess with the thrones too?
I don't
We
think
were starting to.
Yeah, I don't think we really got that far.
Stabbing things.
Okay.
But
All
yeah,
right, so all we did was mess with the carpet.
yeah, carpet seems to be a
Okay.
carpet, and it's on the floor in front of the dais where the thrones are. And again, everything in here is the ceilings are only about 7 feet high. They're flat. All the doors are wood. They've got rusty hinges and so forth. Because again, there's this waterfall that drops. The Nomengard itself is kind of in this cleft or this chasm back into the, kind of almost a V shape, and at the back tip of that is this big high waterfall that dumps into this pool. So there's a lot of moisture in the air. So a lot of the hinges and hardware on the doors are rusted. The floors are relatively smooth, and then the whole place is illuminated with hanging lanterns that have this this kind of reddish oil in it. Yeah. So what would you like to do?
Because shape changing that can be anything. Like, why don't we start testing things that's not like attached to the wall or the walls?
Yeah. But I have a concern that if the shape changer's not here, who's to say it's not in the king's bedroom with him?
That's definitely an issue, but
Or perhaps it's not here at all anymore.
Bibble Stip kind of pipes up. Oh, well, the king wouldn't be dumb enough to lock himself in the room with a shape changer, and Dibble Dab or whatever their name is. Kind of, she nods her head at Fibblestab. Yeah, definitely not. And then she looks at Fibblestab and shakes her head and goes, "Sanity Ray."
It's just that if the shape changer is really good at being a shape changer, his intelligence isn't even in question. It's how good is the shape changer? He could be completely unawares.
The king has certainly demonstrated his great intelligence and wisdom, so surely he wouldn't be fooled a second time.
I wouldn't think so. No, they kind of look at each other. I mean, he's not acting like himself, but that's just probably just like paranoia. But he's a very wise. Both Korbaz and Ganurkli are very very wise men, and we love them.
I don't. They're there. They're safe thus far. Why don't we get through the rest of this area and see if we can find what's causing the
If I were a shape changer who wanted to eat gnomes, I might disguise myself as one of these thrones.
And I'll take out a dagger. Anybody want to give it a poke with me? Guess not. I guess I'll walk over and just kind of like poke the wood a little bit to see what happens.
Okay. Yeah. The thrones are all made of just various pieces of scrap metal. Neither the thrones don't look alike. They're very eclectic in that regard. It's just all scraps that have been fastened and fashioned together or bent around each other in such a way that, there's little thrones. And you can, you poke at it and it's just, you feel your blade tapping against metal.
Just as I thought. Too obvious.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go start tapping gently or stabbing gently items in the room, just looking like an idiot, just
Okay.
see what happens.
So the other throne, tap, tap, tap. Nothing. Do you, there's a table between them. Are you going to check that out?
I mean, we've kind of discussed that we think if it turns into an item, then we should check all the items in the room, right? Or have I just made an assumption from our last thing?
I think it could be any of these items.
If that's the case, I will literally tap on everything in this room if nobody helps me.
Yeah, you've already looked at the rug. You got the two thrones. There's the wooden table between the thrones. There's really not much else in the room that you can see, out. It's pretty Spartan. But yeah, you can tap that table if you like.
So I'll give it a little poke with my dagger.
Yeah. So you do that, and as you do that, a huge mouth and this purple tongue comes out of it and comes at you. And it looks like it's actually trying to attack you. So this tongue, this pseudopod-looking thing, just comes out and tries to thump you as you tap it with a dagger. Would a 15 be enough to hit your armor class?
Nope.
Well, that sucks.
Jump backwards.
Yeah, and as you jump backwards, it lunges at you and tries to bite you, and you all of a sudden see all these little spines on its head, or what you think is its head is a tabletop, and it's got like drool and spittle, and all of a sudden it's this gaping maw of teeth, 2 rows deep, top and bottom, kind of purplish, and it comes at you, attempting to bite you. How about an 11? I'm guessing if a 15 doesn't hit, an 11 is not going to hit either.
I'm just gonna like dance backwards and go, Jesus Christ! No,
Who?
Lathander's ass. I thought he was faking.
Lathander's ass.
Sidestep
Oh
backwards.
my God.
I thought he was just crazy.
Lathander's ass. That is awesome.
Dom's Dragonborn cringes.
So yeah, right, yeah. So you, the rest of the party hears some kind of commotion up on the dais, and you see Ezralin and hear Ezralin backing away, and you see that this table is on legs, no longer table legs, and it's all this purpley pseudopod, weird-looking thing, and it tried to bite Ezralyn. And I'm going to ask everyone to please roll initiative at this point, if you don't mind. No, we're going to roll initiative. I'm not going to give you a choice.
Oh, I mind what I mind a lot.
What's that?
I mind so much.
Is it?
Because the dice won't work. There we go. Okay.
How about 25 to 20? Anybody in that bucket?
23!
23.
Not
Who's...
20.
All right, so Lulu's 23. All right, 20 to 15.
15 for Ezra.
15 to 10.
13 for Bryson.
All right. 10 to 5.
Ethan's got a 7.
What you get there, Lark? Solana?
6.
Solana? 6?
Yep.
Okay. Lulu, you have first action. Excuse me.
Lulu will. She will pop out of the bag, just enough where she can get her arms free, pull out her bow, and shoot at the table of death.
The table of death. You are more than welcome to shoot at the table of death with your bow. Go ahead and roll your attack. 15?
16.
16. That's a hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
8.
8. Okay, so 8 points as this arrow drops into part of the... And it's mostly kind of turned into this amoebic sort of pseudopodish kind of thing. Completely not looking like a table much anymore. But it's got its teeth and it's got this kind of tongue-like pseudopod arm. Okay, let's go to the creature.
And
What's that?
with the rest of her movement, she's going to get up by her shoulder.
Okay, very good. Sorry, I forgot your movement. Yep, very good. Okay, this thing is going to come down toward Ezralyn and make an attack. Excuse me, goodness. Well, just not rolling good attacks. And it misses with the pseudopod. Does a 16 hit?
Meets, yeah.
Okay, so I get to do some damage then. That's exciting. How about 4 damage? And it's a piercing damage. And then you take 4 acid damage from its saliva, because, yummy. Okay. And so this thing is like right at you. As you went down the steps, it just, lunged at you again. It basically got a surprise action, and then that was its initiative. So let's go to Ezralyn. It's your turn.
All right. I am going to take a swipe. Well, I'm going to drop my dagger and take a swipe at it with my greatsword. It's a 19 to hit.
That's a hit.
Okay. And that's 15 points of damage.
All right, yeah. So you slice this thing, and this thick, gelatinous, sticky substance. You said 15?
Yeah.
Okay. And it just hisses and spittles. This, and the acidy spittle, kind of sizzles when it hits the floor and kind of pits the floor just a little bit. And we're going to move to Bryphon. It is your turn.
Okay. Bryphon takes out her bow and arrow and shoots at the thing, and it's a 16.
That's a hit. Nice shot. Roll me some damage.
Okay.
7?
5 damage.
5 damage. Okay, yeah. So your arrow kind of shoots through the pseudopod part, and the gel just recongeals and closes, and your arrow kind of drops behind it. But yeah, you definitely tore through the very thick, rubbery, gelatinous, mucousy flesh, and it's all purple and gross, gnarly yellow teeth and huge yellow. There's probably 6 or 8 of these yellow eyes kind of positioned all over the front of it, above the mouth. It's really freaky looking. Ethan.
So Ethan had been chewing on a vision that he had had the night before, where he had seen a table jump out and attack towards him, and he thought maybe, as he was trying to analyze it, that maybe it had too much wine before bed and it didn't really mean anything. But now seeing a table jump out and attack his traveling companion, he remembers that this table has a certain way of moving. So he's going to use his portent roll. He's going to cast Witch Bolt.
Okay.
And he's going to use his last portent roll of the day.
Very nice.
Which is a natural 20.
Nice.
Which is a natural 20.
Yeah.
So his Witch Bolt, he would cast his spell, and a thin black arc would shoot from his fingers and strike that pseudopod right in the middle of its chesty-ish area.
Very well.
And I'll roll you some damage.
And so, since you have a nat 20, you get max damage. Then you get to roll damage again and add that to it.
Yep. Okay, so 12 and 11. So 23.
Jeez, nice.
23.
And tell our viewers what is really cool about Witch Bolt.
So Witch Bolt, once it hits, that bolt stays in the creature as long as I maintain concentration.
Right.
And then my next round, I will be able to zap it again with another D12 of nasty electrical damage.
Yeah. Is that what it is? Electrical damage?
I think it is actually. Yeah, it is.
Nice.
Which is odd. You wouldn't think it would be, but it is.
That's really cool. Excellent.
Yeah,
all right. Very good. Very good. Solana, you are up now.
All right. How far away is this thing from me?
It's right at the base of the dais, so it depends really on where you were in the room when the attack began. I know you were all kind of curious about the throne, so I'm assuming everybody was in the vicinity of the dais. I'm not putting everybody in melee just because that wouldn't be fair. But if you wanted to be in melee, you could get there easily. Yeah, I would grant you that for sure.
I'm gonna run on up to it. And then I'm just gonna lift my leg really high and bring down a kick.
Nice.
And channel inflict wounds through that.
Nice.
So let's see if this works. Ooh, I think a 21's gonna hit.
Okay, I think it is. Yeah, do me some damage.
All right, come on. Let me see. One of them was a 1 and I'm sad. But 13 damage.
How much?
13.
Holy cow, people. Okay, so tell me what it looks like when you dispatch this just globulary pseudopod-like, amoebic, purpley, gross thing.
Basically, I bring my leg down and it makes a dent in it. And you think that's it, but all of a sudden a bunch of dents start forming in this creature until it's compacted into a tiny sphere that just blips out of existence.
Wow. Okay, so you have ended this shape-changing thing. It's dead. It's deceased.
And if I may, it's quite apropos that our shapeshifter killed their shapeshifter.
Right.
You can only be one.
That can only be one.
Make. How about everybody roll perception for me, if you wouldn't mind? Would you be willing to do that for me?
There's 3 other ones.
Jeez.
It's a herd of them, yeah.
Oh.
Perception.
What would you call a group of mimics?
3 for everyone.
Yeah. I don't know.
The perception.
14 for
Cool.
Lark.
I got
14.
a nat 20. 22.
Okay.
15 for Bryphon.
Dirty 20 for Lulu.
Nice. Yes, you all hear like whimpering and the sounds of fear behind you. And you notice that the double doors have been thrown open, in the south wall. The north wall's flat, the side walls are flat, and then it makes an arc around to the double doors. And you see two sets of eyes and the tops of two gnomish heads peering around the door, and they look to be kind of trembling, and that seems to be the source of the whimpering and sounds of fear. As the two
Lulu's
gnomes.
is back in the bag.
It's Fibble, Stib, and Dabbledop. And they seem to be concerned.
You guys good?
What was that? Is it dead? What happened?
I think I condensed it to such a fine mass that it doesn't exist anymore.
Was that the shape changer thing? It was a table, right? And they kind of start walking back into the room, looking around all.
I had a suspicion that this thing was a type of shape changer that could only do inanimate objects. It was a table. Then it wasn't a table, and now it's nothing.
Or at least it wanted you to believe it was a table.
Dabbledob kind of she kind of scratches her chin, and she's almost like she's writing her. She goes, "That's why it was a rug before. I'll bet you that's it." Dabbledob kind of like the gnomish equivalent of a high five or a hug or something. We solved it. We solved the mystery and saved the king. They start hugging and crying and jumping up and down, like they've somehow solved it themselves.
Yes, you were indispensable in this mission to save your kingdom
We have to tell
and the sanity of your rule.
We have to tell the king right away. And they race out the double doors, and you can hear them pit-pat down the hallway as they wind their way back to the door to the king's chamber. They're gone.
Better still fast.
Gnome's always taking credit for kobold work.
I want to do something real quick before we follow them. Or you guys can follow them and I'll just lag behind. But I want to cast Detect Good and Evil real quick.
In the room?
Yeah, just to be on the safe side.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. So that gives you the presence of anything affected by the Hallow spell, and then like Fiend.
Yeah, Aberration, Celestials, Elementals, Fae, Fiend, or Undead.
Whether or not they're there or not. And their location within a 60-foot radius or something. Yeah. So you go through the process of casting the spell. What is that like when you cast a spell? Like, what do we see and hear from you when you do that?
So, let's see. Basically, I take out that really dog-eared, fucked-up looking book that may or may not be made out of human skin. And
Nice.
it flips open on its own, and the pages just start flipping back and forth. And you just hear some words in Infernal. For anyone that understands Infernal, because I think Ethan does, it's just, it sounds like gibberish, but I'll send you a message as to what she's saying.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. So, and then you just kind of stand and try to get a sense of what's happening in the room, and you don't pick up any indication of any good or evil present in any of the objects, in the walls, floor, ceiling, amongst your. I mean, you get a sense of the goodness of your party members, but nothing else in the room.
And then she just closes the book and is like, okay, I think we're good to go.
Well, let's go see our kings. Let's collect our reward.
Okay, so you're going to head to the door of the king's chambers, and you wind yourself. You leave and go south, and then turn left. Go about 50 feet past a passage that goes further south on your right. You take the left turn that snakes its way back to the doorway, and you can hear Fibblestib and Dabbledob talking and, very excited, pounding on the door and all of that, as they talk to King Korbaz about what has happened. Okay, let's see here. You do pass the doorway that leads back to the room where the gnomes, the tinkerers, were, on your way to the king's chambers. And just as you get up there, you hear a snap in the door, and it is unlocked, and it opens, and before you stands King Korbaz. He's wearing a purple robe. It's kind of, to them it's probably kind of fancy, like it's the nicest finery you've seen, but it's not all that great. It's a little ragged, a little stained. He has a crown of it's kind of this jagged metal twisted sort of crown, and you're thinking that can't feel good on his head. And he looks at you. Are you sure it's dead? Are you sure it's dead? Are you positive?
Yeah, pretty sure.
It's dead.
What was it?
Would Lark know like the specific name of what it's called? Being a shape changer, I feel like.
Yeah, I get where you're going. Roll me like history.
What about Ezra too? Because I mean, she's been a merc for a long time. She's seen and talked to a lot of shit.
Yeah, well,
Dirty 20 for Lark.
both of you roll history.
Oh shit, I'm smart. Oh,
Nice.
not smart enough.
Yeah, you're.
13.
I would say that especially being a changeling, that you're pretty confident that you probably just killed a mimic. Pretty confident with that. Where was it? Where? What?
Well,
Are you sure it's dead?
well, Your Majesty, I may have crushed the mimic into non-existence.
A mimic? What's a mimic?
A mimic is a creature that is able to change its shape from an inanimate object such as a rug to a table, which is what we fought.
I see. And you hear
It
behind.
cannot, however...
Go ahead.
I think it can't look like a person. It can only do inanimate objects.
Oh, well, okay, because like the rug attacked me. It was a rug that attacked me. It did. And you see as you're talking to him, he starts to kind of calm down, right? And you hear behind him a voice, excuse me. And you see behind him another gnome, another male, purple robes, and he seems to be stuck in a chair. Could you please? Come on. If it's dead, let me out, Korbaz. Come on. And he's stuck to this chair. And Korbaz turns around. Oh, Gnurkly, my love. I'm so sorry. I had to keep you safe. I couldn't have you getting out and being attacked by this. What did you say it was? He turns back around.
Mimic.
Mimic. Well, that makes sense if you call it that, because a mimic kind of is like when you mimic something, you imitate it. Right? Is that right? So what was it when it attacked you? Was it a rug?
No, it was a table.
Dabbledob clears her throat. King Korbaz? Your Majesty? King Gnurkly is still... Oh, right. I'm sorry. And you see King Korbaz kind of scuttle over and kind of bow. I beg your forgiveness, my love, but I didn't want anything to happen to you. And he pulls out this stoppered vial. It has some kind of this kind of grayish viscous liquid in it. And he kind of pushes Gnurkly and starts rubbing it on Gnurkly's bottom and around the chair and stuff, and finally Gnurkly works his way off of there. Don't you ever glue me to a chair again, Korbaz. Appreciate the sentiment. And he
Couldn't you have just taken your robe off and gotten out of the chair?
He looks at Korbaz, and Korbaz looks at him. Right. Well, now it needs cleaned. Just look at it. And he turns around and bends over to show you the back of it, and it's got like glue and solvent and Yes, yes. Um, Fibblestid is just thrilled. Look! King Corbaz is back to himself. He's back to himself. Look, he's all normal again. We should reward these. Let's go get them the things. Let's reward them. And Dabbledob and Fibblestid take off, and Gnurkly kind of cuffs Corbaz. Don't glue me to a chair again. And then they hug each other. But thank you for saving me. And they go over and pull a chest out from under their rather large bed for little gnomes, but a large bed, kind of a canopy bed. Looks like it's been fashioned together with various pieces of wood and metal, and it's a little raggedy looking, but it's their bed. But it's there's a couple tables and a couple of flagons on a table with chairs where they maybe take their meals, that sort of thing. But they pull a chest out, and the Gnurkly pulls out a hat. It's kind of this big, tall, kind of foppish hat, and he pulls out a wand. And he comes over very ceremoniously, and he gives the wand to Corbaz, and then he presents you with the hat. On behalf of all of Nomengard, says Gnurkly, smiling, very regal at this point, or at least trying to be, we would like to bequeath upon thee this item is a hat. It's a very special hat. It does magical things, and so you can have this for helping us. And then Corbaz kind of elbows him out of the way. No, but wait. Here's a wand. I want you to have this wand. It's a wand of pyrotechnics. Yeah, it's really cool. It makes really cool light that it'll go 60 feet. It's really cool. But it only lasts like a second. It's kind of like a flash, little explosion, but it's really cool. The hat is super cool. Like if you're is anybody here cast spells? Like is there a wizard here? Because you could use it as your focus. It's very special. And you can cast a cantrip you don't even know. A wizardy cantrip.
Well,
Just so happens we got a wizard.
I've always looked good in hats.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. It's very special. And we think since you saved our lives, I mean, it was close, Corbaz says. We could have died. And so we're grateful. Where are you from? Who are you people anyway?
well, getting to the point of why we actually came here, we were hoping you might have some sort of advanced city defense weaponry we could purchase.
They kind of look at each other. Gnurkly's eyes light up. That thing that idiot rigged up with all the giant crossbows on it. That could be a thing. You could have that if you want. But it's kind of big, isn't it?
Repair it.
Oh. What happened to it?
Yeah, we were attacked by it when we first came here, so we disabled it and then subdued the
She's been dying to use that. Yeah, sorry about that. She's a little enthusiastic. Corbaz kind of smirks.
She's probably quite angry now, too.
Well, yes, if you damaged it, but
Actually,
we'll make it right. We're gonna send some mushroom wine back with you too,
And we tied her up.
and mushroom bread.
thing is, this woman that attacked us, she can build that, right?
She did. She built it. Yeah, isn't it amazing? It's incredible.
Could we borrow her?
I don't think she's in a state of mind where that would be a good idea.
It's a proposition we could propose to her.
Corbaz kind of points at his nose and points up at Ezralyn.
She seemed insane.
But we could offer her supplies and the opportunity to build lots of those crossbows.
Okay, but what doesn't stop her from using it on the townfolk and not the dragon?
I don't know, but we can't carry a huge crossbow. we can carry a small gnome,
But
and
if
the
she,
gnome can build lots of crossbows.
but
and
if
then
she
send
did
it back
that,
here.
if she used the crossbows against Vandalin, they would probably blame us.
This is true. Does anyone have any better ideas?
Where's the hat and the wand? They're all excited. And Dibble Dabble, oh my goodness, I forgot their names again. Fibblestat and Dabbledop, Fibblestib and Dabbledop, gnome names, have returned. Excuse me.
Well,
And-
you know, I've heard you guys are legendary engineers, that you can build almost anything. Since, we saved your monarchs from a dangerous changeling creature. Shapeshifter, thank you. Why don't you come back with us to Phandalin? You guys can fashion something and then head back here. Because, in Phandalin, I'm sure you can get all kinds of supplies that you can bring back here with you, too. After everything that's happened, you probably need a good resupply.
Fibblestib and Dabbledob look at each other like getting all excited. And Fibblestib hands you a pole. It's a 10-foot pole. And he goes, "Stick!" And it collapses to a 1-foot long rod. Here, pole of collapsing. Really cool. And then she comes up to you, Dabbledob comes up to you, looks at Bryphon, and it's this little copper amulet. She goes, "Here you go. Clockwork amulet. Really handy." And it's made of copper, and you can hear little gears and stuff kind of going in it. Little whirring sounds and ticking. Sounds like almost like a clock would. If you want, it'll give you one... it'll help you when you're attacking stuff, like if you have combat, you fight things. So if somebody wants that, it's a little bit helpful. It might help you hit a little bit better. Once a day. It's kind of cool. Those are all the treasures we have. Except we have lots and lots of, if you want lamp oil and wine and bread, because that's what we make from the mushrooms. Oh. And they're all kind of like, mushroom bread, we should eat.
As enticing as that is, we really need some engineering expertise to help Phandalin prepare for a possible dragon attack.
What? A dragon?
Yeah.
Where's a dragon?
On the mountain? A mountain? I don't know. Everything's kind of vague, but it has already attacked the town to a small degree, causing some level of panic. And we were coming to you guys in the hopes that you have something that could help us protect our town.
That crossbow thing could be cool, Fibblestib and Dabbledop, and Corbaz flaps Fibblestib upside that. We already told him that. It's broken, I guess.
But the question is, how do we fix it and how do we get it to Phandalin?
Dabbledob and Fibblestib kind of look at each other. Those are good questions. That'd be pretty hard. And they look over at the kings, and the kings look at them, and Corbaz and Gnurkly are they wanted to take old Crazy Pants with them, and the two other gnomes just start laughing, shaking their heads no, bad idea.
I find that regardless of the circumstances, no great mind is ever really lost. I feel like she would be a huge help to outfitting the town.
Oh,
and if directed
in
a way that's positive, I don't think she'd harm us. I think she'd be a boon to us.
She's a good tinker. Yeah, good engineer, but she's kind of unpredictable. Really unpredictable. Dangerous to herself and others. All she's ever known is gnomes. So, she might... I don't know how she would handle that. Could be bad. And sending her off in the wild...
Seem wise. It doesn't seem wise to introduce that to Phandalin. I've known my fair share of folks who are a little out of their mind, and they can be quite dangerous.
King Gunnerkly and Korbaz walk away and go over by their bed, and they're having this conversation in earnest. They're gesturing at each other, and they're gesturing at you, and they're gesturing at the other gnomes, and to go back to gesturing at each other and talking rather fervently for about a minute. And then they come back over. How about we send Fibblestib and Dabbledot back? And they could probably fashion that crossbow. If you have the necessary...
That's what Ezralin suggested.
They look at each other and they look at Ezralin. Right. Yeah, that's what we were deciding. Yeah, it's a kingly decision, so we had to go over there and
No, of course.
make a decision together. We do everything
I
together.
think that's brilliant.
Yes, it is indeed, isn't it? And they both kind of... Yes. Well then, it's decided.
I can see why your people voted you into these positions.
Would it be possible to send back someone with them to help protect them? It's scary. It's a long way. It's like 8 hours.
I think we'll all be
journey.
I think we'll all be returning to Phandalin.
Yes, but once their job is done, I'm sure we can hire...
When they come back here to
When
Nomengard.
they come back.
Yeah, that'd be best.
I'm sure we can figure
It's very
something
dangerous out there. That's why we stay here.
If we can't find anyone, I'm sure that we ourselves will be able to escort them back.
When
I'm
will
sure we'd
you-
love to visit again, too.
When will you be returning to Phandalin?
Well, I believe it's evening now, so if it's not too much, if we could stay here for the night and head out in the morning... That would be...
Oh, well, that'd be
good.
lovely. You can
Perhaps
have...
if we could.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say perhaps we could sample your mushroom bread.
Yes, I was going to say that. We'll have a feast. We'll have bread and wine, and we'll light extra lamps. See, the red mushrooms. The red mushrooms are for the lamp oil, and then the purple mushrooms. That's what we make the wine from, and then the green mushrooms are what we make the bread from. How does that sound?
Green bread is certainly my favorite.
Well, then it's decided. Another big decision. So many decisions today. Gunnerkly and Korbaz kind of hug each other. And you can see they're almost inseparable. And the way they look at each other, and they almost finish each other's sentences. It's hard to tell where one gnome starts and the other one ends, or begins, or something like that. So very well.
I'm going to quickly take up my notebook, write down that fact about the mushrooms and what color does what.
Yeah. Okay.
Never know.
Very good. Okay. Then it's decided. So they escort you all back through Nomengard to the...
Did they give us all these items?
Yes, those are all your
Did
items.
they give us all these items?
Yeah, those are all yours.
All right.
Yeah. So they're going to escort you to the dining area, just following through the labyrinth of rooms and so forth. And actually, the dining room is the first room you entered. But they take you on a tour of Nomengard, and they take you to the kitchen, which is it's just down the hallway. It's one of the rooms you did not explore. And they enter the room, and you can see the kitchen is built obviously for gnomes, so everything's close to the floor, very reachable. And there's rope and pulley mechanisms and cords, to pull things down and open cabinet doors, and there's ladders and step stools. And there are 5 of these other rock gnome recluses in there. There's a female that is using a poker. She's stoking the fire of this hot iron stove that's open, kind of standing along the east wall there. There's a male using this. It's like this big press type, it's got levers and like a ship's wheel, like a crank. And he's cranking down on this thing, and he's got a big red mushroom, and he's compressing it, and the oil is going through a filter into a funnel, and then that funnel has actually got this really cool contraption that spreads out, and it'll fill like 4 like little tubes. It'll fill like 4 flasks at a time. And it looks like maybe he's making the oil. A female is standing on a low table, and she's got this weird like rolling pin sort of contraption It's got arms, where she can grip it and squeezy things, and then it's all connected to somehow this pin, and it's going back and forth in this contraption, and she's kneading out this green bread dough. And you can see there's like the severed caps of several green mushrooms are laying around her. And then down the table a little ways, a male is taking this dough and he's forming it into these loaves of green bread, and he's like taking such care, his tongue's sticking out and trying to get it just the perfect shape, like it's this work of art. And then you see this other gal at the other end of the room, Gnome, and she's standing on this crickety crackety stool, and she's dumping purple mushrooms into a barrel, much like the barrels that you saw in the wine room. And that's what's going on. And they're all just talking, and they stop a minute and kind of give reverence to the kings, and kind of look at you very timidly and go back to what they're doing. And the king's clearly very proud of the operation, showing off their kitchen, and they bring you back to the dining room so that you may wait for dinner to be served.
Well, that was thrilling. Did you see all the bread stuff? How cool is that?
Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it's not poisonous in some way. Not
Well,
that they would mean us any ill intent, but
they seem to have been consuming quite a great deal of this. So,
well, they seem to enjoy it a great deal.
And in no time, 4 other gnomes come into the dining room through another entrance into the room and set out plates and wooden goblets of various, sizes and shapes, not really all matching at all by any stretch. And pretty soon they bring out warm bread and a big decanter of the wine, and they pour each a cup. And the kings, of course, sit at one end of the table on a little bit taller, seats, so they're above everyone. And they raise a toast to dead mimics, says Korbaz. And everybody's like, dead mimics. And Gnurkly and Korbaz kind of entwine arms and drink from each other's goblet and kind of look in each other's eyes. And it's almost like they kind of forget the rest of everybody's there as they enjoy their wine together, and you all raise your glass and toast.
Is there anything like small, like small portions, like cut up or something, like on the table?
They have knives and loaves of bread, so you're able to serve yourselves whatever you like.
Oh. Well, Lulu's still in the bag, so she'll kind of just like try and reach out and grab some bread and pull it back without being seen by gnomes.
Okay, roll me stealth.
oh, Lulu.
What'd you roll?
My thing's being slow.
Did you tell me what you rolled? Because if you did, it broke up or something. I didn't hear you.
My thing's being slow. I have to pull
Oh,
my
okay.
phone 1 second.
Okay.
Icespire stole.
It doesn't lag? Real dice.
Dice.
Well, that requires a lot of
Dice, dice,
carrying around.
baby. Ding, 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 ding.
There. 17.
Okay, yeah. So you're able to tear off the end of one of the loaves of bread, kind of grab a cup with wine in it, and slop it a little bit down your arm, and you get back into the sack, and they are none the wiser. The 2 kings, Gnurkly and Korbaz, are down at the end of the table, looking into each other's eyes, looking around the room happily, but mentally maybe not fully present with what's going on in the room as they relish in their continued life together. Nobody was killed today. by a mimic. So they're just reveling in all of that happiness. So, Dibble Dab, the female main wizard. So do you all live in Phandalin? Are you from there? You all look so different. I didn't know. Different from each other and stuff.
Yeah, well, I think we're all just travelers for the most part, except for Ryfin and Lulu.
She kind of stops.
I've only recently come to Phandalin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never been there myself, says Dabbledob. And Fibblestib kind of stops and looks at you all, counts everybody. Who's Lulu? You're... What's a Lulu? And he kind of looks around. Very innocently, not,
Lulu's a friend that we left back home.
Oh, okay. Very good. Well, we're excited to go to Phandalin. Neither one of us have ever been there before. Is it big? Is it like a city?
Well, I wouldn't get my hopes up if I were you.
Well, I mean, it won't be as amazing as Nomengard.
Depending on who you talk to. Depending on who you talk to, it could be a very great epicenter of knowledge.
Oh. Their eyes kind of get real big.
It also could be a knowledge suckhole.
Ethan, do you have to be so negative all the time?
Well, I'm just saying, it could be that.
I suppose it could.
I've been there for, 3-4 days, 5 days, maybe a week. I don't even remember. But I haven't seen a library.
Well, I was talking to some woman who's researching there and researching runes, I believe, that are not far from there. She seemed rather intellectual.
Maybe. Anyway, if you've never been, it's worth seeing for, at least one time. It'll make you glad to be back in Nomengard.
Oh, it's hard to even imagine leaving, but since we know we're coming back, it'll be exciting, but no place is like the majesty, the magnificence of Nomengard. And they raise their cups, and the kings raise their cups. Another toast to the majesty of Nomengard! And they drink their mushroom wine. And the wine is, if you've ever had thyme, that spice thyme, very earthy, that herb, it's like a glass of thyme and mushrooms, only liquid. Yeah. Kind of like that.
Yeah, I'm not drinking that.
But it is fermented, and it has a little bit of a kick to it. It's definitely wine.
Can Lulu try for another piece of bread?
Sure. You gonna be stealthy again?
Yeah.
Gonna get caught.
Lulu looked. Another 17.
Okay, yeah. No problem. You're able to hork another piece of bread. Sneak back in.
I might just want to remind you, your majesties, that your companion with the ballista thingy...
Gnurkly looks. What was that? In that bag. I saw something in that bag. Something moved over there. What was that? Do you have a pet? What is it?
Lulu, did you sneak into the bag?
Lulu's here.
She's always doing that.
Bark! Bark! Bark!
There's gonna be a big mess to clean up in that bag when we get back to Phandalin.
Oh. They kind of look at each other. Oh. Does Lulu want to come out?
Lulu can if she wants. I'm sure everything will be fine.
She probably would like to stay in the bag.
Bark.
She's
Lulu
shy.
in the bag.
was that?
I said Lulu's shy. She stays in the bag.
Okay.
I was going to say, Your Majesty, I just thought I would remind you that we did leave your ballista companion tied up in the room with the ballista. I just didn't want you to forget.
Oh, right. Yes, we'll remember. We'll definitely remember and untie her. Yeah.
No, those two gnome guards that we talked to earlier went to check on her, I thought.
No, I thought they had to stay and guard the room.
They better not have left.
Yeah. I didn't
Those two, I'll tell you, if Ulla or Pog has left their post, that's like 2 days without bread.
Whoa, that's harsh.
That's
Right?
quite the punishment.
Well, we are loving and benevolent, but we rule. You can't let everything just go to pot. You just can't let it be out of control. Fair and stern, I always say, Korbaz says. Gnurkly winks at him.
I've never been a ruler of anything, so I'll take your word for it.
This is a well-run facility.
Magnificent, isn't it? To Nomengard! And they raise their cups again. Wine sloshing down, and they eat, and they're kind of crummy and messy, and yeah, but they're quite pleasant. And so it goes. The evening is kind of passed that way.
I think I would probably absentmindedly start drinking the wine though, without thinking about it.
Well, when you're ready, we have a room where you can all spend the evening comfortably.
Ethan is going to whisper in Infernal. No, yeah. To Lark. Be careful with the wine.
It's just one glass.
Be careful with the wine.
Wait, Lulu had wine. Oh no.
No, it's just when Solana gets drunk, she's not exactly herself.
Oh. It's like something wrong with her.
Like
Right.
literally not exactly herself.
Does Ezra notice this?
I don't know. Does Ezra notice?
I'm running perception because in my head, again, this is just in my head, Ezra always will sit between Lark and Ethan. Always, she is the body shield between the two of them. I don't know if you're actually doing that or not, but
I like that idea.
perception. I roll a 3. I don't see you doing it.
If anybody is taking down what's garnered for treasure and stuff, you have a pole of collapsing,
Check.
hat of wizardry,
Check.
clockwork amulet,
Check.
and a wand of pyrotechnics.
And the hat of wizardry. Wait, you said that right?
I did,
Yeah, he did.
but you still have that, so yes.
We have 2 hats of wizardry.
Yeah, only one wizard head.
You can wear 2 hats at once. Double the wizard.
All right.
So the evening kind of winds down, and Fibblestip will show you to your quarters, such that it is. And it's, some small wooden bed frames with straw pallets, some wadded up, material and stuff just for padding, and but they're all gnome sized, so could be a little uncomfortable for some of you.
Ezra's just gonna sleep on the floor.
But it's a chamber like all the others. It's large enough that you're not going to be right beside one another or anything. Then they bring you some wash basins to wash the day off your face, that sort of thing. And they excuse themselves as they go off to go to bed.
So is the room empty of of gnomes now?
Just you.
Okay. Ah! That bread nasty.
That's
Well,
not
it-
nice. I'm
it
sure
is
you've eaten
green.
worse.
It's gnome bread.
What's wrong with gnomes?
A lot wrong with gnomes.
Lulu, I won't tolerate mild racism in my group.
Well, we must remember while we're here to be kind to gnomes, number one, and number two, maintain our forms.
I'm fine. I only had like. I lost count after 3. I think I had 3 glasses of wine.
If we don't maintain our forms, getting out of here might be difficult.
As long as I am awake and moderately sober, we should be fine.
All right. You know what we used to do with new recruits when they get drunk when they should have been working?
I can't wait to find out.
Jumping jacks. Start them now.
Oh,
I want
thought you were
20.
Clever unconscious.
20.
Now.
Yes, ma'am. Lana
Yeah,
starts doing
unconscious
jumping
would be
jacks.
better, but-
Party mom.
And then there's going to be sit-ups, and then the push-ups, and then the sprints back and forth to the end of the room.
Fine. You think I'm not in shape enough for this? I can totally handle this.
Sure. We'll do a sobriety test when you're done all that.
How do you do a sobriety test? What is the sobriety test?
Israel just wiggle our eyebrows at her.
Solana turns like bright red.
Come on, move.
Alright, do I have to roll athletics for all this?
I think simple enough activity, but you're going to have to make a con check when you're done.
Alright, I do all this stuff and it's like, it seems pretty second nature. It's not like, well, Solana probably doesn't work out, but Lark does, so I don't know if that would help or not. But let's see, con check. 17.
Okay, you're fine. You're winded and stuff, and you're running around after drinking that wine. You're probably wishing you hadn't had that last couple of cups of wine, but you're going to keep it down.
There, you happy?
See that line on the floor where the seams of the stones?
Yeah, the crooked
down
one.
Oh shit. I need something straight then.
I don't think anything in this group is straight. What?
What straight?
Well, you know how a line goes like that? Some people don't.
Alright, fine. You touch your nose with your eyes closed.
That good?
Bend over, put your head between your knees.
The last time someone said that to me, I got robbed.
Maybe it's somebody I knew. Do it.
Okay, fine. Let's do it.
Israel, push on the back of her head just to see if she falls over. Not hard, but just.
I'm gonna roll a d20 to see. Nah, I'm good.
Alright. Stay awake, go to sleep. I don't care if somebody's gonna be watching you.
I'll be fine. I'm sure everything. No, and after everything that's happened, I'm sure they would be very understanding, even if I were to accidentally change.
Wouldn't.
Can you, like, leave a message for Jarvis?
He doesn't listen.
Damn it.
He's very rude.
Yeah, he touched me without my permission.
I am so sorry. What did he do?
I don't like people touching me. I'm not good, big on it.
Oh,
Alright, well. If you think you can stay up, stay up. If not, go to sleep, then hope Jarvis is smart enough to say that he came looking for us.
I don't know if you've formally met Jarvis. He
He's
is
a fucking
smart.
idiot.
He's not an idiot. He's just an asshole.
That's a type of idiot.
Well, then yes.
It's a subspecies of idiot.
He's not. I mean, he's not that bad. Once you get to know him. But he does like to tease people.
While this is going on, can Lulu be like rummaging around the room, checking all the corners and everything for traps?
Absolutely.
Okay, what do I need to roll for that?
Investigation, please.
While she's doing that, Ezra's actually going to set up her little pallet directly in front of the door. And you have to hit her to open the door.
Nice.
19.
Paranoia is kicked in now.
Ezra, you really don't need to worry. Things are going to be fine.
It's not exactly Jarvis, it's this place. Plus, if you haven't noticed, I'm a little bit on the paranoid side. I'm still alive. There's reasons for that.
Ezra's smart to be paranoid in Gnome Place.
It's not just about the gnomes, but okay.
Why do you hate gnomes so much?
Long time ago, Kobold God got tricked and trapped underground by Gnome God. It's a big thing.
So just because someone a long time ago did some shitty stuff, you hate all gnomes?
Yes.
Lulu, that's stupid.
Every kobold I know don't like gnomes.
You can't just not like a whole race of people just because of one crap person.
Lulu never meet gnome who don't like kobold.
Are you getting
Who like
it?
kobold.
I'm sure Fribble Stibber Dabbledob would totally think you're amazing.
I think that's a theory we would test somewhere outside of Nomengard, not in Nomengard.
If Lulu feels more comfortable being hidden and not interacting with gnomes, fine. But you shouldn't just hate for no reason.
It's actually based in like kobold DNA to hate gnomes, so it's very hard not to.
It's like people not liking me because I can change.
Well, that's if you could change, which maybe you can't. No one knows.
Hypothetically.
Lulu don't know of any changeling issue with kobolds.
The place I grew up wasn't very friendly towards changelings. So
Lulu like you.
that's great, but like, why can't you apply that same like of me to, you know,
It's she's like not processing the question very well. It's like
Menu.exe is having difficulty.
yeah, literally she can't process that thought. Like that doesn't make sense to her.
Well, just be kind to them, please.
Lulu staying back.
Okay, Lulu staying back. That's fine.
Unless Lulu need to bite something. Like
Okay.
or curious gnome hand in bag.
Do not bite the gnomes.
If they put hand in bag, Lulu bite.
No, Lulu, don't bite.
Lulu bite.
Lulu!
She's staring at you blankly, just like Lulu bite.
Lulu gotta do.
Lulu, remember, Mother told you not to bite things.
Bri, if gnome put hand in Lulu bag, Lulu bite.
No will not put hand in Lulu bag because I will protect the bag. But if that happens, don't you dare bite, or
The gnome's Trixie.
I will tell Mama, and you know Mama will not be happy.
Ooh.
Just
The
saying.
gnome's Trixie.
Lulu.
Lulu proceeds to get back in the bag and start off the jerky. Laura Beijing.
Hide in there forever. You can't hide in a bag from your problems, Lulu.
I almost got water everywhere. Lulu is small, can hide.
I'm just gonna set up on a pallet, possibly in the corner of the room, and just like nestle into the corner and sleep, or try to start sleeping while sitting up. Like I'll take my shield and sort of put it in front of me, and like I tuck away like a turtle into the corner.
Anything else before you all retire officially for the evening? Are you going to set watch or anything, or let the half orc kind of be the alarm?
I'll take watch after Ezra if that's what she wants to do. You're muted. Didn't hear any of that.
She's not taking watch. She's literally just set up her bed right in front of the door, and she's just gonna sleep there.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Lulu will be on watch because she don't trust gnomes.
Right? Can't be too careful.
Ethan's gonna pick one of the pallets and lie down and get ready to sleep.
Okay.
Like, Lulu will be in the bag, like peering out, like two little eyeballs just peering out the darkness of the bag.
Okay. Very good. It's a quiet night in Nomengard. Nobody comes anywhere near the room that you can hear or detect. All seems right with the world. And you awaken in the morning. Obviously, you're going to.
But
Benefit-
before we
ahead.
go that far, if I may, Ethan would have had a rough night. He would have been tossing and turning and muttering in a language that no one understands, interspersed with common like no, and then blah 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 blah, this guttural language, and he'd toss and turn and have a really restless night.
What language?
What languages do you speak?
Common, Draconic, Druidic, Elvish, and Sylvan.
None of those.
Okay, well. Can I roll to see if Lulu eventually falls asleep?
I'm sorry, loot roll for
I guess
what?
she's guarding us.
To see if Lulu falls asleep eventually?
Sure.
Is that possible?
I would say roll Constitution. Make a con check.
Okay.
And I would say you'd probably have to beat a DC 15 to stay awake because it's been a long day. You journeyed all the way up here from Phandalin.
Well-
Remember, your day started in Phandalin, and it's been a long day.
Well, she rolled a 13, so probably fell asleep,
Yeah,
couple
so
hours in.
if Bryphon happens to like roll over in the night or just kind of half wake up or anything, you'll hear Lulu snoring loudly inside the bag. Kind of this muffled kobold snoring sound. Yeah, that's the one.
Motorcycle.
Why don't Ezra and Silana and Bryphon roll perception? And I would say a DC 12 is what we're looking for.
Ooh, 13.
To see if you
15 for Ezra.
Okay, what was yours, Bryphon?
16.
Okay, so yeah, you all heard what Ethan described. Very, very difficult, restless night for your wizard friend, your young mage.
Ezra will roll over, look at Solana, and just kind of shrug and roll back over, go back to sleep.
Okay. So, what's that?
I'm whispering over to Ezra. Should we wake him up?
I think this is kind of his thing. If he starts screaming, we'll wake him up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey Ezra, can I ask you something before you go back to sleep?
Go for it.
First, I'm going to check to see if anyone else is awake at this point.
No, seems like everybody's snoozing. You hear Lulu snoring, Bryphon's asleep, and then what you heard with Ethan.
Why do you have those strange scars on your face?
I didn't realize you noticed them.
A while ago.
Wow. She'll push back her braid and she'll actually, because she wears like a turtleneck type of thin material that actually is like here. And she'll pull back the neck and you'll see the same thing on her hang. She'll pull back her sleeves and you'll see it all over her arm and everything like that. I got the tail end of a very nasty spell. They told me, an old wizard friend of mine told me it followed all the nerve paths. Burned them up, kind of. And, yeah.
Can you feel anything?
Sometimes cold doesn't really affect it. And she'll just take out her dagger and she'll go for the one on her arm here, like one of those slightly thicker ones. And she'll actually just stab it a bit and cut. I feel it, but it's not. It's like cutting into a scar. You don't feel it that much, but around it I'll feel. I don't know. I was the only one to make it out of that from that. Killed 10 others.
If you ever want to talk about stuff like that, I know we don't know each other well, but I have a good feeling about you. And I know out of everyone in this group, I trust you the most. So I hope you can feel the same way.
Yeah. You're the first person I've told, so. First person to notice, really. So, yeah. We're good. You got anything, let me know. It's just a good talk.
Do you ever have trouble remembering things?
Well, I'm getting up there in years, so sometimes.
I have Solana and Jarvis and I can't remember his name.
Doug.
Jug. Yeah, Jug. They all have memories, but Lark doesn't.
Oh. I was a bodyguard for this weird old wizard for a while. He was the one that told me about the scars. He said sometimes things happen to you so bad that your body makes you forget it. that trauma will make you forget for your own safety. Maybe it's something like that.
I don't know. It just. It's weird. Because Solana and the others, well, I and the others remember things about Lark, but they don't. Like, we knew them, or we know them, because we are them, but we have memories of them, but Lark can't remember.
Do you remember something happening to Lark?
No, I mean, they have no scars, no birthmarks.
Sometimes it's not physical.
Well, don't tell Jarvis or Jug this, but Lark tells me everything.
Mm.
They haven't told me anything about this.
Some things you don't want to talk about.
But I'm them. How do I not know?
I've been kind of trying to treat it like this, is that you're all individuals in the same body. Sometimes you're able to keep secrets. And maybe Lark isn't telling you everything. But sometimes forgetting is the best. There's a lot of things I wish I'd have never seen that I can forget. A lot of things I wish didn't happen. Maybe, maybe Lark's not ready to tell you about anything yet. Maybe you're not ready, or she's not ready to delve into whatever's going on in there with her. If you're all there, what she experienced is probably still there. It's just buried. I never really actually forget anything. It's
No.
always there. Sometimes it's just buried.
Suppose not. I have trouble coming to terms with the fact that I'm not real.
You're
But I have
breathing.
this entire history. I had parents? Or Lark imagined I had parents? I remember everything.
Are you sure that Lark isn't the soul being? The starting being?
They have to be. Changelings don't look like me. They look like Lark. At least every changeling I've ever met, but I don't know.
Look, if it matters, you're here, you're talking to me now. You're real. Jug, Jarvis, Lark, they're all real. There was, again, this old. You like to talk. Good God, you like to talk. But you exist. You're real. Maybe you're a bunch of souls in one body. Maybe you are a figment of imagination, but so I don't like poke you kind of hard in the forehead and go, you seem real enough for now, anyways.
I thought you didn't like touching people.
I don't. It was a finger. And let's just kind of wipe her finger on your sleeve.
Thanks.
Yeah. But, yeah. Sometimes you just can't think about things. Maybe this is something you should leave for a little while.
An anthropologist, I can't not think about things.
And I can't get you drunk because Jarvis will come out. And I might kill him.
Yeah, it's tricky. I like drinking though. But then Jarvis happens. Or worse, Jug.
I like Jug.
He's nice, he just lacks any and all basic social skills.
And wisdom, I think.
He is not bright.
Common sense isn't there.
No, he likes to solve things by eating them. And I don't know if the others know who we are. Or if they know about Lark.
It's weird. I wouldn't even. This is. You live with this all the time? My brain's twisted at the moment. Just trying to think about it.
You see,
Like, how did Jug know us?
Lark is kind of like a conscience. They're a voice in our head that tells us what to do sometimes. And if we listen, you get me. If you don't listen, you get Jarvis. And if you just think that it's a fun imaginary friend that you made up, you get Jug. It's kind of sad, but I think Lark is alone when they're Lark. They don't hear any of us.
Seems very lonely.
It is. I think that's why they can't, well, besides talking to Ethan, I can't remember the last time Lark was Lark. They've been me for years.
Maybe you feel more real to them than they do to themselves.
I don't know, I'm sure your therapist would have a field day with us. I hope if you ever do end up meeting Lark that you can be their friend. I need somebody, real or not.
I'll do my best.
I assure you they're not like Jarvis at all.
I already like them then.
They're a lot like you, actually.
How so?
Well, they like to glare at people.
I can't help how my face is.
No, I'm not judging, it's just it's what I've noticed. They're very straightforward. They, well, they observe more than they say things.
A useful skill.
And in a fight, they put themselves before other people. I hope you don't feel as alone as they do.
Alone and lonely are two very different things. All I can really say about that one.
So which are you?
I've been both. But over the years, I kind of figured out being alone's better. You can deal with lonely, but in the long run, being alone's safer. say safety is a number, but the problem in numbers, but the problem is you might get attached to those numbers. And the pain of losing someone's a hell of a lot worse than being lonely.
Well, I'm sorry, but I think you're wrong. And, well, I'm already attached to you, so you gotta get used to that.
Let's just hope I don't have to add another one of these. And she'll point to the 3 line tattoos that are on her forehead.
What do they mean?
Reminders.
We don't have to talk about it. We should probably get some sleep.
I think that's a good idea. Good night.
You know, I just
Rita herself.
hide back in my weird turtle shell of a setup I got going on.
Okay, so everything grows quiet aside from Ethan's occasional minor outbursts in whatever language. And the night passes uneventfully. You're safe deep in Gnome Guard. Nobody comes to bother you. In fact, nobody even comes in the morning. Whoever wakes up early is the first one up, and the gnomes are apparently content to leave you be. So you all suffer the effects of a long rest, so that's good. You benefit from that. And aside from probably being a little stiff from sleeping on stone, even if you had like a straw mat or pallet, you know how it is. It's wake up, a little kinked up, a little stiff. Trying to remember where you are. Again, you're in like a plain stone room. Just no remarkable features at all. I think what we'll do is, why don't we take a quick 5-minute bio break? Would that be cool?
Sure.
Yeah, that
Come
sounds
back,
good.
it'll be the next day, and you can get ready and depart with Fibblestip and Dabbledob. So, viewers, hang tight. We're just going to take a quick 5-minute break, stretch out, and grab a refill on the beverage, and we'll see you all momentito. Thanks for hanging out with us. right, y'all. We are coming back. And we're back.
Woo.
Woo! All right. Yay, breaks. Breaks are good. Thanks to the viewing audience for hanging out and waiting for us to return. We are super stoked to have lots of people hanging out in chat tonight, so very nice. Okay, so it's the next day. It is actually 19 Flame Rule. Flame Rule being the 7th month of the Faerunian calendar. And it's morning. And it feels kind of early. You don't, it's kind of tough to be luxurious and sleep in when you're laying on stone and straw. But you're starting to wake up. Not sure who the earliest riser is in the party, but feel free to take it away.
Probably Ezra. She'll get up and do some stretches. Just wait for everybody else to get up. She'll try to be quiet.
Except for all those creaky joints, right?
When did you fall asleep? No. So pop out of the bag and like scurry around like.
You're fine, Lulu. Nothing bad happened.
Oh, do you not trust me? I slept in front of the door all night to make sure no tricksy gnomes got in. Aren't I scarier than gnomes?
Luke can ride shoulder, so no.
Okay.
She'll dip back in the bag and pull out a handful of jerky and toss it at Ezra.
Thank you. I want to keep this for later.
Oh. It's good stuff.
You hear voices coming down the hall,
Back in the bag.
talking excitedly. And as they get closer, you recognize they are Fibblestip and Dabbledop. And they peek in. Is everybody awake? Is it time to go yet? And you can see they have cloaks now over their clothes, hooded cloaks. They have backpacks. And they look like they're ready to go. Dabbledob is holding a kind of a wrapped something, like wrapped in cloth, clean cloth. She holds it out. Green mushroom bread for the road. She smiles. Fresh made.
Oh,
It's
lovely.
still warm. In fact,
Great.
eat now if you want to before we leave. We get up very early, so we've already eaten, but feel free to eat now. And then we can leave whenever you're ready. Are we ready? Is it time? And you can tell they're about jumping out of their skin.
If nobody else is up, I'll walk around, give everybody a jolt with my boot just to wake them up.
Yeah, so if you were not awake, you're probably awake now because the booted foot of a half-orc mercenary has been introduced to your sleeping form.
Not
There-
mean about it, just
Right.
really knew I was there.
And there are two very eager gnomes, kind of like kids on Christmas morning, talking incessantly about all manner of things. How long does it take to get to Phandalin? Is it like a week?
It's less than a day's worth of travel.
Yeah, it took you about 8 hours to get up here.
Probably gonna feel like a week.
Because we've never really left. We've gone outside, but not really very far. The kings don't like us to venture too far because it's dangerous.
Well, I mean, that's fair. But just stick close to us and you should be fine.
Fibblestip comes over to Bryphon. As Bryphon's, stretching, getting ready. So, you're an elf, right?
That is correct.
Did you know that you have a kobold in your bag? You should be careful. I never met a kobold before, but I heard they can be, I don't know, angry. Short-tempered, impatient. So just, I don't know if you knew that, but there's a kobold in your bag. Then he goes back and Dabbledub kind of looks at him like, I told you not to say anything.
Bryphon will peek under the bag a little and be like, Lulu, you've been found out.
Lulu will peek out and just like glare at the gnome, just like
See,
trying to be menacing.
Look how angry she is. She's angry, and we saw her use a bow. She's angry. She shot that thing in the throne room, and she's a good shot. So just be careful, Bryphon. We didn't know if you knew that she was in there.
Bryphon kind of sighs and she goes, "That's my sister."
Oh, wait a minute. So you're an elf, and Lulu's your sister, and she's not an elf. She's a kobold. Wow. I didn't know that could be a thing.
They're a very modern family.
Dabbledob kind of thumps Fibblestip on the shoulder. She's like,
Yeah, so now that the kobold's out of the bag, I suppose we should get going.
Lulu watching you.
It'd probably
Lulu
be
be
wise
nice.
of us to leave.
they kind of smirk at Lulu and smile. Okay. It's fine.
Ezra will give Lulu a glare.
Lulu will glare back.
Solana will glare at everyone just because she feels that.
Throwing a little stink eye at the party mom, hey? Okay. So they will lead you through the various pathways, passageways, and out to where one of the cave entrances, the one that takes you down by the switchback path, out past the islands where the stream kind of turns into the pool. Or actually the pool funnels down to the stream because it's actually running from the waterfall. And the kings are in the hallway and they bid you a fond farewell. Please come back and see us. Maybe you can bring us some of your wine. I mean, it won't be as good, because this is Nomengard wine, Nomengard, yay, But please come back and see us again, and please make sure Fibblestip and Dabbledob get back safely. They're so important, and we love them so much. And they all get all kind of emotional and awkward and huggy with Fibblestip and Dabbledob. And as you can tell, they're, Fibblestip and Dabbledob are just like, jeez, we just want to go. They can't wait to get going.
Well, all this lovey-dovey stuff is making me feel ill. Let's go.
Don't forget that we tied up your companion and left her in that room.
They look at each other. Oh my gosh. That's right. Okay, well, good luck. We'll see you. And they scoot back in.
The whole night. Just,
Oh, that poor woman.
I wonder why she went crazy.
So you find yourselves down in the cleft, the floor, the kind of big crevasse where the 5 cavern openings are up above ground level. Beautiful waterfall. You see the 2 islands in the pool with the multicolored mushrooms. And again, these mushrooms, they're like 2 feet tall or more. They're pretty big. And you're able to make your way north out of Nomengard. I'm going to put the regional map up here real quick so that folks can see it. And so Nomengard is down here in the mountains. And they're going to march about 8 hours. I don't know if you can see that on stream very well, but they're going to march about 8 hours to Phandalin through the foothills of the, what do you call them? Snowy Peaks, I believe. And back to Phandalin. So, again, it's mostly foothills of mountains. So steep hills, very rocky, very little vegetation, some scrubby evergreens here and there in small clumps and copses. It almost seems like it's just growing right out of the stone, as you recall, as you pick your way um, northward. It is a very cloudy day today. Kind of, I wouldn't say it's foggy, but there's a little bit of mist in the air. Once you get outside, you can reckon it's probably 9ish in the morning, give or take. And it's just damp outside. And you're not sure how much of that is attributable to the waterfalls or, from mist or the air. But once you get, that first mile away from Nomengard and the waterfalls is just a distant rumble in the background, you can tell there is some mist in the air. But again, it doesn't cause you any visibility issues. It barely dampens your gear. But you make your way and you pick the path, just retracing your steps. Little book type of thing, and she's making notes um, as she's pointing things out, and Dabbledob is pointing things out, or Fibblestip is pointing things out to back and forth to each other, and they're just consumed with being outside in this environment that they haven't really been exposed to because they've spent their entire lives in and right around Nomengard.
This whole time, Lulu's just like peering or just over the bag's lip and just staring at them suspiciously.
Okay. Every now and then they'll look over at you and they'll talk to each other and kind of snicker and shrug. They don't seem to be paying you a lot
Every
of
time they
mind.
every time they look towards you, he's just and his eyes narrow a little bit.
So, Fibblestip and Dabbledob, I have a question that's been bothering me just a little bit. How did you find out what the mushrooms were best for?
Oh, well, I that's just that's what they are. That's what we do with them. That's what we've always done with them. Many generations of gnomes have lived there. So I've always just known that the green ones are for bread and the red ones are for oil and the purple ones are for wine.
Oh, well, I mean, did they ever get it wrong and eat the wrong kind of mushroom?
No. I mean, it's pretty easy to tell. They're pretty brightly colored. And they kind of look at each other like, really?
I mean, it makes sense, but like, someone had to figure out that the green ones are the best for the bread, and the purple ones are the best for the wine, and the red were best for the oil.
Just always been that way. That's what we do with them. I don't know. It goes way back before our time.
Oh.
It's just what they're.
I guess the same could be said for like, how do we know that we can eat chicken eggs? Like,
Chicken eggs.
You ever have eggs?
No.
No.
Yeah, you can crack them open and you cook them and they taste real good. For
No.
breakfast.
No.
You cook them?
No.
And you can cook them all kinds of ways. You can sunny side up, scrambled, hard boiled, soft boiled, deviled eggs.
I like a good poached egg.
Oh yeah, poached eggs. I like mine the dippy eggs. They're my favorite. That's what my mom always used to make.
They're just looking at each other like.
And she'd put two on the plate and then some bacon and it'd look like a smiley face and it was really nice.
Lulu is like just like beside herself, is like in the bag.
Wait, so have you guys never eaten anything besides mushroom bread?
Nope.
Oh my god.
Don't need anything else, really. I mean, we have wine.
Oh, I is gonna be fun when we get them to the inn.
I'm going to show you to the best thing that's ever been made. It's called a donut.
They just look at each other like,
It's like bread, but sweet.
why?
Because it tastes good.
Well, I mean, we can't imagine anything being better than. And one like Fibblestip pulls out a green loaf of bread. We brought our own bread.
Yeah, but there's so many different foods to try.
Huh.
Have you had cheese ever?
I don't know what that is.
Never had cheese?
No.
Dear God, I hope you guys aren't lactose intolerant because I'm gonna open your goddamn minds.
They just look at each other like confused, like, okay. I mean, if we have to eat other things, I guess we will. You ate our
I
bread,
won't force
so
anything.
you know,
I mean,
we'll try things.
if you run out of bread, we have options.
Oh, we won't run out of bread. We brought bread for you too, and wine.
Tasty bread.
And you notice each of them kind of has a hump behind, inside the cloak, where you might guess there's probably a wineskin or two. They're loaded for a long trip.
Packing the good stuff.
You guys drink water too, though, right? Like, you don't just drink wine, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we drink water.
Okay. Because if you're drinking wine all the time, then you're gonna be drunk.
Thinking they drink more wine than water.
We're kind of used to it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, can gnomes get drunk?
I mean, we'd have to drink an awful lot of that wine. Sometimes, though, on holidays, celebrations, like when King Korbaz and King Gunurkli got married, the whole place got drunk, all the gnomes. We had quite a festival.
Oh God.
It was a beautiful.
Sounds like a party.
It was a beautiful ceremony.
I think
So-
that's my favorite part of life.
What is it going to be that we have to do when we get to Phandalin? What are you going to have us make? What do you need help with?
Well, the town is relatively defenseless. There's no guard or militia or anything, to my knowledge. So, the town hall master dude, Harbin Wester, wants us to make something that can protect the town from a dragon. So I guess something similar to a giant ballista is probably the best bet we have, unless you have some fun inventions that you'd like to try.
We could make that 4-way ballista thing. We could build that. That would probably work
That would be
really
very
good.
helpful.
Yeah. You know what? If it's a dragons fly, right?
Yeah.
We could build it in a way that, and you see them, they both kind of just go into like artificer, tinker mode. We could build it in a way that it tilts, and so you could aim it up in the air. Because the one that was in ours is like a fixed position. It just spins. Right, with the levers, there's gears under there, and it all connects, and it drives it around counterclockwise. But we could put it on a pedestal and make it tilt, so you could aim it up.
Mm-hmm.
Would that work?
That would be very awesome. Could you build maybe a couple of those, or how long do you think it would take to build?
It'll probably take us maybe a week to build one. We could probably build a couple of them for you.
That
Maybe you
would
could
be
even
awesome.
put one,
I'm sure.
because the town has buildings, right? It's not in a cave thing like
Yeah.
Nomengard. So you could
No, we have.
put one on top of a building, maybe.
Mm,
Yeah. So
Well, I'm
Oh.
sure once we propose this idea to Harbin Wester, he will be more than on board with giant ballistas.
is he your king?
It's not really a king per se.
Oh.
As far as I know, the town's pretty democratic and people get a lot of votes and says on what goes on where. He just sort of manages things.
So he's not important like our king Gunurkli and Korbaz.
No, I wouldn't say he's like them at all.
Though he does lock himself in his tower, so that is kind of similar.
Why do they do that?
I don't know.
It's not
They just
hopeful.
really don't want to get hurt and they think everyone else can handle their problems.
Hmm. Well, hmm. When is the dragon going to come, do you think?
We have no idea. For all we know, it could have already destroyed the town by the time we get back.
Their eyes get really big. You don't think so, do you?
I sure hope not. My stuff's there.
Oh, goodness.
Although it would be better to have the town already destroyed than to have it destroyed while we were actually there.
But Mama, there, no.
Well,
Ethan.
I'm
No.
just, I mean, I'm just saying that would be
I had a
better for
spray
us.
bottle. Just.
Ezra casually walks between the two of them.
So you've been on the road a couple of hours, and it's not quite noontime yet, and it's warming up. You're descending in elevation, getting down into a bit of a grassy valley, because if you recall, you're going to have to go through the hills, just east of Umbridge Hill when you went to see. I don't remember her name now, but you went to see her at Umbridge Hill. You're going to pass just east of there, but right now you're in this little grassy valley between the foothills of the mountains and then the grassy and tree-covered hills between Nomengard and Phandalin. And you're 2-3 hours in, almost noon, and it's warm, but it's not unbearable. Again, it's pretty cloudy, so the sun is not beating down on you. But the two gnomes are just kind of overwhelmed with what they're seeing, the sights they're seeing. They haven't really seen a lot of trees. Every time you cross a stream, they want to kind of play in it and drink from it and see what it tastes like, and they're just out taking it all in.
That's adorable.
I feel like Lulu would see begrudgingly a small part of herself in them with their oh, what's this, what's that, because that was kind of similar for her at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like yum, 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 yum.
Nice. So it's about midday, and the gnomes kind of start looking at you kind of longingly, and finally Dabbledob kind of comes up to Ezralyn, who she has decided seems to be the leader, and she pulls on your cloak a little bit. Ezralyn, really hungry. Really hungry. Can we have lunch?
Yeah, it's fine. Somewhere safe first, and we'll get you fire and everything.
Okay. You're coming out of the grassy valley and up into the hills now. And again, you pass areas that have some stands of trees, and then some of it's pretty, just grassy hills. Some areas where it's a little bit rocky. But you wouldn't have any trouble finding a, I guess, defensible spot to stop and eat. Maybe take cover in some trees or something. It's up to you.
Cool.
And as soon as the party stops,
Get us to all stop and
yeah.
do the food thing.
Okay, so as soon as the party stops, they dig into they shoulder their packs off, and you can hear the clinking of tools, like metal and wood on metal and wood. And then they pull sacks from the inside of their cloaks, and Dabbledob opens her sack and starts pulls out a loaf of bread, tears it in half, and starts handing out halves of loaves of bread to everybody, just very methodically. Here we go. Here's your bread. Do you want wine or water? She makes sure everybody gets a loaf of bread, and she brings one to Lulu. Here you go. I don't know if you eat gnome food or not, but you're welcome to have some.
Lulu slinks back in the bag. Lulu have enough food.
Okay, suit yourself.
You ate their bread last night, Lulu.
Don't use logic on Lulu.
Yes, clearly it doesn't work.
And they plop down and open a wineskin that was hanging over their back. And they're just having a gay old time, man. They're just loving the whole being out away from Nomengard. You're probably 4 hours into your trip, so you're, give or take, about halfway. Would anyone like to do anything at lunchtime other than have lunch?
I think Solana's gonna just write down her observations of the gnomes and just how much they have a zest for life and how enthusiastic they are, and she'll try to draw little pictures of Fibblestip and Dabbledob.
The little piece of bread that was offered to Lulu, where is it now?
She just left it there. So I guess on the ground.
Like on the ground? Or...
Yeah.
Okay, well, Lulu will just like try to sneakily get out and grab it and go back in the bag as quick as possible.
Okay. You gonna stealth again?
Yeah.
Okay, roll me a stealth, pretty please.
Yeah. 14.
Okay. Yeah, so you sneak out, grab the bread, and scurry back in the bag, and you hear Fibblestip. Enjoy your bread, Lulu. Made it fresh this morning. It's very good. And they kind of keep to themselves a little bit. You can see they're apparently writing a lot. Like they've got some paper rolled out, and they're writing. They found a rock to kind of lay it on, you know. They're busy writing as they eat, talking at a very rapid pace.
I think Ethan would sit next to Ezralyn, and he would say to her, "My traveling companion, I've had another vision."
Guessing is while you were dreaming, because you were doing a lot of muttering last night.
Yes. Remember the boy? I told you about the boy, the vision I saw,
Yeah.
and I saw him again. And I'm telling you, because I don't want to upset Bryson and Lulu.
What happened?
Maybe last night, I saw him again. However, this time, it was as if I was seeing him through his stalker's eyes. It was as if I was his stalker. And I could see him in more detail this time. And I could see his red hair.
Okay.
And I could feel the stalker's emotions. And he is cruel. Very, very cruel. He not only wants this young man dead, he wants him to suffer. And as I looked at the young man, his arm, where he would hold a weapon, dangled at his side, broken, useless. And he's screaming, running away, and he's weaponless, alone, and terrified.
Do you remember anything about the environment?
It looks like a wooded area. But he
What
does
type of
not have-
trees?
I'm not similar to this, I think, to the trees in this area. But he doesn't have much time.
What type of spells do you have?
Well, I have all manner of spells. With this hat, I can cast any cantrip.
Okay, do you have anything like I remember the old man used to have something that he could see people from far away.
Well, my divination skills aren't as advanced as his.
I just remember he used to pour ink into a platter, and you could see things in the ink.
Mhm.
Find people. I guess you got nothing like that yet.
My divination, I'm
Still learning.
I'm I'm still learning.
Alright. We'll keep an eye out. And if you have another vision, I know you can't always control them, but do your best to try and make idea of the details.
Well, I see what I see. And this vision may happen. It may happen in the future. It could be happening now. Maybe in the past. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the problem. Until we know, we can't really act on it.
No.
But for now, keep an eye out. Let me know if you see anything that's familiar, alright?
I will tell you.
While you're chatting, you hear the voice of a female human sounding voice speaking calm and yelling, "Help, help, help!" And you hear them like running towards you through the trees. And if you turn and look in that direction, you see a slender female human in kind of a greenish gray cloak. It's kind of half untied open. You see leather armor. You see a short sword at her side and a longbow strapped to her back, and she's running breathless. Hair was mostly tied back, but it's a little bit of a mess. And she bursts into camp, into your lunch ring, if you will, and says, "Help, you have to help me. Help me, they have Farron. They have Farron. You have to help me." What would you like to do?
Where?
Back over, just over there. I mean, it's a little ways. We have to go. We have to hurry. They're going to kill him. I know they're going to kill him.
Who's Farron?
I'm sorry?
Who are you and what is going on?
My name is Kylene. We're scouts. We were scouting and we split up. And I know I shouldn't have split up, but you know, when you take a bath and, you know, I'm a girl. Anyway, you have to come help. You have to come help right now. There are these dog men. I don't know what, they're awful. They make horrible sounds and they're going to eat him or something. Come on. And she like starts pulling on Ethan just because he happens to be closest. Go any other direction.
That sounds like Knowles. We better get on. Let's just go. They're Knowles. Either way, even if she's lying, they need to be put down.
All right, let's go.
Worst comes to worst, we kill her. And Ezra will start off at a jog.
Okay. She leads you, running right along nicely, picking her way through the trees, very, very dexterous, looks very, very comfortable in the woods. And she leads you, and as you get closer, you can hear yipping and chittering, and Ezralyn, I know you've probably dealt with gnolls in the past, and you nailed it. If you want to make me a perception, and you can hear it, you've left one stand of trees, run through up and down a couple of hills, and entered another little bit more dense copse of trees. And you saw a little stream, kind of a wide little stream rolling kind of along your right that you've kind of picked up that's come along in the direction you're going as she leads you up into the trees. How'd you do in perception?
Alright. Hold the 12.
Okay. With a 12, you can definitely tell there are more than one, but you're not sure how many. But you hear multiple voices, one of which, if you didn't know better, was probably barking orders. Sounded, kind of demanding, commanding in a way. Just, they're up here. I don't know exactly where they are, but I know they're up here. I know I shouldn't have left Farron. God, I hope he's okay. And she's all kind of beside herself as she pulls her sword and leads you forward, slowing down.
I'll check back to make sure everybody's with me.
Right behind you, boss.
Would Lulu know the name Farron at all? Like how close are we to Fenelon right now?
You're about 4 hours out.
Oh, well, I guess.
You would know Farron.
Oh.
And you would know of Kylene. You don't recognize her, like you've never met her. But you know that sometimes Harbin will employ rangers or scouts to go out and literally scout, see what's out there. And you know that there's been a lot of buzz with the dragon. So it kind of makes sense that there are people out scouting the area. So that makes sense to you.
Okay.
But you've not met them. But you've heard the name Farron before, yeah?
Okay, so can Lulu, while they're running, can Lulu get out of the bag and, like, jump from shoulder to shoulder up to, Ezra?
Make me either athletics or acrobatics. Bryphon, you would understand this as well. You've heard of Farron as well, being from from Nomengard, from Phandalin. You would have heard of scouts, and especially that you do hunting work for the tavern master Stonehill. You know that is a thing. So it sounds like her story would maybe hold water.
Got a 17 for acrobatics.
Okay. Yeah, so you're able to kind of jump from person to person. And the gnomes just watch kind of wide-eyed, and they're keeping up, kind of staying in the middle of the group as you race to aid this alleged Farron. And so what do you do when you get to Ezralin?
Ezra, Lulu know these people.
You're all right?
Yeah. Boss deals with them sometimes.
All right, good to know. And she'll keep on racing on until she sees something to hit.
Okay. Yeah, so you're in the woods now, and Kylene kind of does one of these and crouches down, keeps her sword out, and creeps up quickly. And she does step on a stick, and a loud snap, and immediately you hear something coming towards you in the brush. It's growling, it's chittering, and it's racing in your direction. And before long, you see a kind of a hunched over, pretty large, the bigger end of medium, up on two legs creature, and it has a spear in one hand, and it's looking in your direction, headed your way, probably about 20 feet away through the trees and brush.
I am going to duck in behind and wait till it gets close enough to me because I'm going to take it off at the knees.
Okay, so it comes at you. What are the rest of you doing? Are you all like behind Ezralin? Picture, large, mature, deciduous trees, not too many evergreens. There's a few rocks here and there, boulders, that sort of thing, and you're up kind of on a hill.
Yeah. I'm not far behind Ezralin, but I'm shielding the gnomes with my teardrop shield.
Yeah, they are happy to stay behind you.
Are there any, you said there's trees around?
Yeah, it's all trees with limbs. You have to be careful where you walk, or you're gonna whack your head on a limb, or that kind of thing.
Can Lulu try and jump from Ezra's shoulder up to a tree branch?
You can easily do that. There's enough trees. You don't even have to roll athletics. You can easily scramble up into a tree.
Yeah, Lulu will do that and take out her bow.
Okay, very well. About 20 feet out, then, I'm assuming Ethan and Bryphon, are you also kind of behind Ezralin? You going to stay in as a group or spread out? What do you think?
No, I think I'd stick near Ezralin.
Okay.
Bryphon kind of goes off and jumps on one of the big boulders.
Okay.
And takes her bow out.
To the side, then? How far to the side from the center where the party is do you want to go?
Not too far away from them, probably like 20 feet.
Okay. So just kind of flank whatever's coming. Okay, so you hear this crunching and snarling and chittering, almost think like a hyena kind of sound almost, coming at you, and it stops for a second and does one of these sniffs. And then it looks right in your direction, Ezralin, and makes a beeline for you. And as it gets closer, 15 feet, 10 feet, you see this guy approach. It'll take a minute to show up on stream for you all. But he's probably well above 6 feet, well over 200 pounds. Gnarly, knotted muscles. You can already smell him coming. Looks like maybe one of his eyes is missing. He's slobbering and drooling. And kind of hunched over. He's got some hide and some leather strapping for armor, and he does have a shield and spear as he approaches. Did everybody get a look at that thing?
And
Yeah.
Ezra will air her teeth and snarl back.
Okay. It comes at you. Let's roll initiative. Okay. 25 to 20. 20 to 15.
15.
Who was that? Lulu? Okay.
19.
Ezra?
19 for Ezra.
Gotcha.
18 for Bryphon.
18 for Bryphon. Okay, 15 to 10.
11.
11 for Lark. Or Sarah, Solana. And Ethan, what'd you get, bud?
Number 9.
Okay. So you see this hulking, it's breathing hard and it's looking around. It's got a few little trinkets. Some of its hair is braided, as you can see probably by now in the image. At least I hope. And it bares its fangs and hisses and growls at Ezralin and steps toward it and just snarls. Ezralin, you have initiative. You act first.
I will cut its legs off. If possible,
Okay.
I'll drop low with a big swing.
Okay, so make your swing.
Uh, 14.
14. Okay, so you take a big swing. And remind me what your weapon is? Great sword, right?
Sword.
Yeah. So this thing just snarls and looks at you and immediately gets its shield up and just kind of parries it away. And it has to take a step back, but it manages to push your attack to the side. And it just bares its fangs. Bryphon, would you like to move or anything, Ezralin? Sorry.
No, I'll stay in the same spot, only I'll stand up now.
Okay.
That's it for me.
Very good. So, Bryphon, you're 20 feet to the side, and by that angle, you're probably about 30 feet from this beast that you just saw successfully turn away the blow from Ezralin with his shield. And it's just it looks like it's almost like dried skin stretched over wood or something. It's a very crude shield, but it does the job.
Okay. So is he the only one that everyone can see right now, or is there others hiding? Maybe.
Oh, you just see this guy came barreling. Once it, the sound of your approach was made, this thing came out of the brush ahead of you, out of the trees, and that's what you see.
Okay. Well, Bryphon will shoot an arrow at him,
Okay.
and that's a 13.
Okay. Your arrow glances off some of the hard leather strapping that's around his shoulder and skitters off into the woods, vanishing. And it kind of looks to see like where that came from. Anything else you want to do?
Nope.
Okay. Lulu, you are up. This thing is just kind of advancing on Ezralin, having been struck by an arrow, but to no avail.
Yeah, Lulu will aim her short bow and go for natural 1. Okay, that's cool.
Okay. Yeah, so your arrow just, as soon as you fire, you didn't realize there was a branch. You're so focused on the creature that this branch in front of you kind of clipped your arrow and just sent it thunk into the ground. Anything you want to do?
Lulu will change position to hopefully not to be seen, so it just go like to another branch.
Yeah, it really didn't notice it. You're probably 20 feet back and elevated, and it really didn't even realize. It's so focused on Ezralin and the fact that it just was hit with an arrow that it didn't even catch what you did. Ethan, I'm assuming, how far back are you from Ezralin? Give me an idea of your position.
So I'm going to say that he's going to probably be 20 feet behind her.
Okay.
Is this the only one of these things we see?
Yep.
Okay. Ethan's going to reach into his pouch where he keeps his components, and he's going to pull out a grasshopper, a cricket.
Yeah.
And he's going to begin to cast his spell, which is sleep. And as he casts his spell, as he moves his hands, and he's got the cricket in one of his hands as he casts with his other hand, and he begins to speak the words of magic. The cricket sort of begins to almost disintegrate and become a little powdery substance, and as it does that and he finishes his spell, he blows the dust out towards the creature.
Okay.
And casts sleep on it.
Very good. Is there a save?
So I don't think so. I roll 5d8.
That's how many hit points you can
and
put
that's
to
how many
sleep.
hit points, right. And
Gotcha.
if it has more than that, then it doesn't lose sleep.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And it basically starts with the lowest amount of hit. If there were multiple creatures, it would be the lowest amount of hit points go down first.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
But apparently he's the only game in town, I guess.
Yep.
The only...
That's all you see.
All right, so 20.
Okay. Yeah, so you see this thing, this cloud of disintegrated cricket dust blow out and blow over Ezra, and it kind of descends around this thing. And it kind of shakes its head and looks around and remains awake.
Oh, crap. That's all I have. I think I'll take my other... I think I'll take movement and back up another 20 feet.
Okay, so you're 40 feet from Ezra and the knoll.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I skipped Lark, so let's go to Lark. Sorry about that.
Oh.
Alright, I'm going to reach out over my shield and try and cast Chill Touch.
Okay. How far are you? Were you back there kind of near Ethan, where Ethan started? 20 feet or so, or were you closer, do you think?
I was closer to Ezra, but I don't know where the gnomes were because I immediately went into guarding them. So
Yeah, they would have stayed with you. They see that big double shield, and they kind of like it back there. They have 0 ounces of
I'm
bravery.
like close to Ezra.
What's that?
I'd say I'm like close to, but not like right next to Ezra.
Right, gotcha.
All right, so that's a 22 to hit.
Okay, that hits.
All right. So a giant skeletal hand comes up behind the knoll and just grabs it by the scruff of its neck and does 5 necrotic damage.
Okay, very good. Yeah, and the knoll, you can see it's very uncomfortable, and it kind of howls a little bit, like you definitely, it felt that. So, yeah.
And then, let's see.
The gnomes are just
like
standing there looking up at you with eyes the size of like platters. They don't know what the heck's going on.
Yeah, that's it for my turn.
Okay. Noel is going to make his attack because I rolled a 1 for initiative. Ezra, there's a spear coming at you. Does a 17 hit your armor class?
It does.
It does. Okay, so you're going to feel the bite of this crude spear. It is a metal tip, but it looks like it's not like a beautifully fashioned, and it's just kind of strung onto a very thick, stiff pole. You're going to take 3 piercing damage. He's not able to use it as a two-handed weapon because he does have that shield set. And it just snarls at you. And we are back to you for initiative.
I am going to hit him real hard.
Okay.
Hopefully. Natural 1.
Okay.
I didn't.
Yeah, so he easily turns your blade aside. And you miss miserably. All right, Bryphon.
I'm swearing.
Bryphon, you are up.
Okay. She is going to shoot another arrow.
Okay.
She's gonna try to aim for, like his neck area with her arrow.
Okay.
And I got a 17.
Yeah, that'll hit. Absolutely. So go ahead and roll me some damage.
Okay. That'll be 3 damage.
Okay. Yeah, so your arrow hits and goes right off the side of his neck, and you can see you've opened up a wound as it howls just horribly, just this chilling howl. And with that, you hear from behind it the sounds of something else coming through the brush and the trees toward you. Lulu, you are up.
Okay. I'm gonna try another arrow.
Okay.
Come on. Okay, it's for 21.
21, that's it. Let's go ahead and roll me some arrow damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 4.
Okay, very good. So you thunk an arrow into his right, actually his left shoulder. It looks to the right side of his body as he's facing you, and he howls in pain. Lark, Solana, you are up.
I am going to need that knoll to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Ah, very nice. I rolled an 8 for you.
Yay. So I take out my mace and I just bash it against the shield and I cast Toll the Dead.
Yeah, so he kind of almost looks stunned as he hears this thundering ring and inside of his head. You know it's found purchase.
And if he's, let's see, if the target is missing any hit points, takes 1d12. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and he's missing hit points, so yeah, Toll the Dead's a
Excellent.
great spell.
I love this cantrip.
Yeah, D12 on a
12
cantrip is
damage.
nice. He drops his spear and shield and clutches his ears, and just this blood-curdling, yodely, screechy, squealy howl thing, and you see blood run down, and it's not red, it's black, and he falls in a heap, and behind him you see a bigger one who is similarly adorned with leather armor and braids and hide and like a loinclothy sort of thing, but he's got like trinkets and shinies in his braids, and he has a glaive, and he's bigger, and he just and howls. Let's see here. And one runs up behind it, and they were yeah, let me finish telling you what happens here. They were carrying something, and they drop it as the other one steps up beside it, brandishing his spear. The other one looks more like the gnoll you just killed. So what would you like to do?
For my bonus action,
Yep.
I rip out a piece of paper from my journal, whisper some words into it, and then I blow it. It turns into ash, and the ash actually goes up to Ezralyn, coating her in a facsimile of a shield, and she has +2 to her AC now.
Nice. Shield of Faith.
Ooh. Yay.
Nice. Nice. While I'm thinking of it, anybody who is less than 2 inspiration will get one from the DM tonight for the great role play and the way you're using your characters in combat. Very well done. And those you can have those now. Okay, so let's go to Ethan. Ethan, there are 2 of these things, and Ezra, you know for a fact these are gnolls, and this is probably the alpha, the pack lord, that's staring at you, breathing stinky gnoll breath, like dog breath times a million bad. Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to cast Ray of Frost, and I'm going to cast it at the alpha. So I have to make a ranged attack on
Okay.
the alpha.
Yep. Make sure you get your dex bonus in there.
Yep. So that's a 17.
Okay. Yeah, this guy is wearing a chain shirt, no shield because he's got this glaive, and you're 17. You said.
Yep.
You got him. Hit me with some.
All right. All right. So he takes 6 points of cold damage, and he's also as the frost sort of creeps over his chest. He's going to lose 10 feet of movement until the start of my next turn.
Right. And how much damage did you say?
6.
6 damage. Okay. And he's slowed by 10 feet. Okay.
And he's slowed by 10 feet.
Very good. And he is in.
And that's all I got.
He is up with Ezralin in melee. And you're still, what, 40 feet back, you said?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. That brings us to Ezralin. I rolled initiative for these 2 additional combatants, and they will fight where they came up in initiative. So go ahead, Ezralin. You are up. You've got 2 of these guys. The biggest one, the alpha, looks like he's going to probably engage with you. The other one is looking past him toward Solana, having just seen Solana beat her mace on her shield and fell his packmate. What would you like to do?
Okay. I'm gonna take a smack at the big one. 14?
14. Again, your sword just beats on his chainmail, and you hear the air rush out of his lungs.
I use my +2?
You can, and that would cause you to hit. That would take you to 16, and his AC
No, the
is
plus 2 is
15.
to your AC, not attack.
No, but I have inspiration, which is a +2,
right.
right?
Well, inspiration's a reroll, but you guys have 9 of those +2s
Yeah.
for the party. So if you want to use one of those,
Yeah, I'm gonna use one of those.
you could then hit the guy.
And I'll do 14 points of damage.
Oh, yeah, good call. Yeah, so you just open up a big gash up across like his collarbone, and he just howls and spits at you, looks down, and he kind of sticks his tongue in the blood and kind of laps it up, and he just gets this rage in his eyes as you do this. What else would you like to do on your turn?
That's it for me.
Okay, Bryphon, you are pleasantly surprised to see 2 of these beasts now in front of Ezralin.
Okay. I am going to aim my bow and arrow for the big one. And I'm going to aim for his left arm.
Okay.
And that is a 19.
That hits.
Okay. And 5 points of damage.
Yeah, so you put another pinpoint left arm, and it goes right through the bicep. And he looks down and he grabs his snout and snaps the arrow shaft off. And you said how much? 6?
5.
5, excuse me, sorry. Okay. Yeah, and so he's got a half an arrow sticking through his arm, and it's bleeding profusely as you thump him with that arrow. And we are to the other knoll, the guy standing beside him, who has not been damaged yet. He's going to step up to Selana and take a swing with his spear. He is spear and shield guy. So he's going to... actually, what he does is he's going to try to bite you and then spear you. Because this guy, the alpha, has howled, and you see the other knoll respond. Okay? So he's going to use his bonus action to bite you. Does a 14 hit?
Nope.
Okay, and then he's going to hit you with his spear with any luck here, just stabbing at D. And a 14 probably doesn't hit this time either then, right?
Nope.
Okay, well, I thought I'd ask just in case. Okay, so he just steps up and he takes a snap at you, and you just smells terrible. And there's fleas and flies flying around his, around. It just, it's like the grossest dirty dog smell ever, right? And he's like a dog humanoid guy. Up on 2 feet. He's got dog feet and kind of dog claws and a dog face. Okay. That is his turn. Lulu. There's one of these things on Selana and one on Ezra.
Oh gosh. Lulu will go after the one on Ezra. 19.
Okay, that hits.
Ooh, for 9 points of damage.
Nice. Yeah, so you bury an arrow in one of his thighs, and he just, again, he howls, and he looks down, and he snaps it off, and he just puts it in his teeth and leaves it there. So he's got like the head of the arrow, half an arrow there, and he's now bleeding from an arrow wound in his thigh. Anything else you want to do?
Is anybody injured right now?
I don't think anybody's been hit yet.
Okay, then no.
Okay, so the alpha guy, the Knoll Pack Lord, is going to make 2 attacks, and he's going to make a mighty swing with his glaive at Ezra because she's closest.
I'm going to replace his roll, Scott. I'm going to use my portent roll on for him,
Okay.
and I'm going to replace his roll because I saw this creature, and I'm going to give him my 2.
Oh,
as
in that
my
case,
attack roll.
the first one will miss Ezra. He just swings. It's like he's about to make purchase, and for some odd reason, something turns his blade aside, and he kind of looks almost a little. Go ahead.
I think Ethan would have seen this happen, the glaive coming down towards Ezra, and he would shout out, "Move to your left, Ezra!"
Yeah, there you go. And yeah, so she dodges a little bit. Nice. Second glaive attack is a 23 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Great. Sorry. How does 9 piercing sound? Excuse me, slashing, as he just brings this thing down across your shoulder.
Hurts a bit.
And you can see him just thrilled. The rage, the cruelty, the malice in his eyes as he, it's almost like he's looking at you wondering what you're going to taste like when he finishes you. Lark, you have a knoll in front of you.
Oh dear.
It tried to attack you and missed.
Well, I don't appreciate that at all. So I'm going to cast Ray of Sickness, which is going to look super gross.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Well, first let's see if it works. Natural 20!
That should do it. So max damage plus a second damage roll.
Max damage?
Yep.
Oh dear. I don't think this guy's going to be standing. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, this is going to be fun. So, basically, Solana's eyes kind of roll in the back of her head, and she, unhinges her jaw as this, phantasmal black ichor just shoots out at this guy. And just gets all over him for 22 damage.
Nice. Yeah, and so what kind of damage is it? Necrotic?
Oh, it's actually, what is it? It's,
Or is it like disease?
it is, I want to say it's, hold on, what is it? It doesn't say.
Just damage.
It's I think it's poison?
Okay.
It just has a little skull and crossbones next to it with damage.
That's poison,
I think it's
yeah.
poison.
I think that's either poison or necrotic. Yeah, so this stuff just coats him, and he looks at you, and he starts to twitch and seize up, and he drops his shield and spear, and just collapses right in front of you. You got his hit points
Solana
exactly.
just wipes her mouth.
Nice.
Yeah, I wipe my mouth. I look down at the gnomes. I'm like, "Are you guys still good?"
They're looking up, just like they can't even speak right now. They're just beside themselves. They've been kind of peeking out, seeing these things. They've never seen anything like this, much less killing and death. And they're like, "Whoa!" And as this guy falls, you see behind him, Kylene has her short sword, and she's about to take a big swing. And her eyes get really big as this guy falls, back in her direction, but next to her. And she looks at you, and she looks at it, and she turns, and she goes to attack the alpha guy with her short sword. Let's see. That's a +4. Okay, so she hits. the Knoll Packlord. So she plunges her blade into the thigh where the arrow wound was and deals him some damage. And he just howls with rage now that he's kind of surrounded him by himself. And then you see her eyes get really big as she notices what they were carrying. And she finishes her action by moving 15 feet to stoop over whatever's laying there. Lark, you just went. Ethan, you're up.
I'm gonna throw another ray of frost at the alpha.
Okay.
And I got a 22.
Whoa, that should hit.
All right. Yeah, so I gave him 1 point of frost damage.
Nice. So he's got like frosted tips.
Yes, and he loses 10 feet of movement.
Okay.
Until next turn.
Yeah. Very good. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Okay. Ezra, you're up. You have this Knoll Lord standing in front of you. He just got a little frosty on the tips of his fur.
I'm annoyed at not hitting anything now, so I'm just gonna bring the sword up behind and just straight down chop.
You got it.
And that is a 16?
16?
No, 18.
18. That hits.
Didn't do the math right.
Yeah, give me some greatsword damage.
That is, my brain stopped working. 17 points of damage.
Holy crap. Tell me what it looks like when
My
you
max damage.
fell this Knoll Packlord.
I get in right here and then just slice right down.
Nice. And
Hopefully I would cut him in half, almost in half.
as he falls, you hear the wail of a young human, female. Farron! And we're going to fade to black, and we're going to end right there. And that's going to be our episode for this evening. Knolls are nasty.
Dun.
Knolls are nasty.
Gnolls are good. We got gnolls, we got gnomes, and we got gnastiness.
Okay. Shoo. Well, you guys did pretty good with those Knolls. I don't think anybody even took any damage, did they? No, Ezra did. You took a little bit. One attack. Sorry. Okay.
I'm down to half.
Yeah. Knolls are tough.
I'm hurting.
Yeah, you all did very well. Okay. So let's wrap this thing up. I do want to make a couple quick announcements, and then we'll get some outros and get you out of here. Coming up this weekend is a really cool event. If you're a classic D&D fan like I am, if you remember the World of Greyhawk, the setting that Gygax had created, kind of the original D&D setting when TSR kind of went public and turned D&D into a really cool thing. So we're going to spend a weekend in Greyhawk. By we, I mean the whole Greyhawk community. So if you look below the box here on the Twitch page, if you're not in theater mode, you can see the schedule and all the games. And there's just a ton of stuff going on. So check that out this weekend. You can go to, and I'll drop it in chat here. You can go to this website, register for the events, and go hang out and play. On Sunday at 4, I'm going to DM a group of folks through a level 6 one-shot up in the very northern mountains, the Korusk Mountains in the northern Flyness. And they are going to be visiting the Foul Crypt of the Mountain Kings. And so we're going to be doing that at 4 on Sunday. So if you're really into classic D&D, a lot of the games that are going to be played are like 1E, 2E, like 1st, 2nd edition, AD&D. They're going to have panels, discussions. Anna Meyer is an incredible Greyhawk cartographer, map maker. Luke Gygax is going to be playing in an all-star game with a bunch of other, like Len Lofkin. He did the Bone Hill module, if anybody's familiar with that one. So some really classic people from the game are going to be participating. It's going to be a really cool weekend, so come check that out. And otherwise, you can see our schedule below. Sundays, we play at 1. We play Pathfinder in Greyhawk. This weekend it's going to roll at noon so that we can get it in before the other game. And And then Monday nights we play Mysteries in the Dale Lands here at 7:30, and then of course our Wednesday night game. And we had to miss a few weeks for scheduling and sickness and stuff. And man, am I glad to be back hanging out with these awesome people. My only sadness is that we couldn't have Abby tonight because she had to work. But man, I just love these people, and what a great night. So make sure each of you, if you don't have a total of 2 inspiration, you can have a max of 2. If you don't have 2, give yourself one from the DM for everybody. I love Bryphon placing arrows, and Lulu, spitting at gnomes, and Ethan's vision, and then the conversation with Lark and Ezra. Just love it. So what a way to get back into the swing of the game. So great job, and we'll find out what the heck's going on with Kylene when we pick it up next week. So let's do quick outros. Let's start with Shanna Logic. Just tell us where we can find you, who you are, or whatever you want to say.
Hey, Shanna Logic is basically where you can find me on Twitter, where you can find me on Discord if I'm lurking in your chat somewhere, watching, judging.
Ooh.
But for the most part, I'm here on Wednesdays and then over on Cranio Dad's channel on Saturdays, where I play, guess what, another gay disaster. Who'd have thunk it? But yeah, that's kind of all I'm up to.
That's hilarious. All right, very good. Bryphon.
I'm Sabrina. Go by SongoChan91. You can find me on Discord. We're here on Wednesdays. That's pretty much where I'm at for right now.
Awesome. Very good. All right, Lulu, Rebecca.
I am not really active anywhere, but Streamer Cat says hello.
Hey, Stream Kitty.
Bien, bien.
Hey, kitty. Very nice. All right, awesome. Ethan.
He's sleepy.
So you can my Twitter is below on the Discord and the Twitch. I'm at WikiVA. Here every Wednesday, and I'll just shout out that Monday game, Mysteries in the Dale Land. I've been watching that and really enjoying it. It's a great group of people, great game, compelling story, compelling characters. Watch it.
It's fun. It's fun like this is, but a different kind of fun. Very good. And last but not least, Ezra.
I am Kayla. You can find me as Miss Misery over most of the internet. On Twitter, I am Miss_Misery_. I'm fairly active over there. Plus, you can find me in Wiley's Discord. I don't have a whole lot on the go right now. I'm actually kind of looking for stuff. I'm getting bored. But other than that,
Ooh.
that's it.
A bored Kayla. That's a scary thought. Look out, internet.
It is.
All right, very good. And I'm Scott. I'm Wiley Hobbit. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. And thanks for listening to our fun little story. What a great bunch of role players we got here. So, really good time. So I'm going to raid into Lord Kazumba, a good friend of mine. He's the guy that's actually the organizer of this virtual Greyhawk Con. And, well, it's not letting me raid. So you know what? Let's just get out of here and go to bed. People are tired, and I'm not going to fight with you tonight, Twitch. So thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in a week on Wednesday night.